All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who does lead and rule well. Salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim, pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And sincere Shalom also to you Akim and Aqua for listening and learning, preparing yourselves here in these last days. All right, and to the entire household of faith, fighting this good fight of faith, I want to say Shalom. This is your brother Quar from the DC camp. Come back to another lesson. And I'm entitled this one, Babylon is about to feel it, you know? And usually I have a picture as a background, but I couldn't choose one. So I just went to the images, man, because there's so many. And then a lot of these is attached to videos or articles, you know? And just look what the talk of the town is, man, you know? America will collapse soon. You know, they specifically talking about certain states, Russian media, you know. And you see it, man. It's turmoil all over the world because the wicked is in authority, man. But this is all what the scriptures is saying, and it is our job as watchmen to sound that alarm, and that's what we doing, man. You know. So I got some videos, some articles, you know, just to show you what we've been seeing, man. You know, showing you the prophecies that are coming to pass, man. And when we say here in these last days, man, we mean that, you know, because this is something that's imminent. Let's see what AI said. It says the notion of America's imminent collapse is a topic of ongoing debate and speculation, with various factors contributing to concerns. Some argue that the country is experiencing a slow constitutional collapse, while others focus on economic instability, shrinking military advantages, and potential shifts in global power dynamics. The perception of decline or declinism has been a recurring theme in American history, with discussions about potential collapse often surfacing during times of economic or geopolitical challenges. And they don't think that anything is going to happen to them, man. You know, that's what they really don't think. Matter of fact, let me get that in Isaiah, the 47th chapter, real quick. I'm going to just start at the top. Isaiah 47 and verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." All right, and this is talking about the mystery Babylon. The mother of harlots, what you see in the book of Revelations. This is not the old ancient Babylon, but it's the new Babylon. All right, and that's AKA America, okay? It says, "Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," right? Because you got everybody will come to America as if it was the land of the, you know, opportunity. The city's paved with gold, man. But now you saying that people are leaving, man. I was watching a video from the brother, you know, I forget which brother, you know, brothers is putting out the work like crazy, but they was talking about how these Indians, I'm talking about actual Indians, is going back to their country, man, because they got more opportunity out there. Now, matter of fact, I'll type this in. Look at this. Everyone is leaving America. Even Americans is leaving, man. You know, and that's prophecy too. Let me get that real quick before I go back to Isaiah 47. This is Isaiah 13. And let me see. I just want to see where I want to start. Yeah, I'm going to just go back. This is Isaiah 13 and verse 14. It says, "And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land." All right. And so that's what's happening. You know, everybody's going back into their own land, man. You know, because they see what's happening, man. They seeing what's happening far off. You know, the prudent foreseeth the evil and hiding himself. And a lot of the people of this world is more wise than you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who still can't see what's going on. You still trying to, put all your eggs into, America, man. Well, this place isn't going to offer you any covering. This place is on its way out, man. Thus saith the Bible, because it was only set up for a short period of time, and it's being judged for all its wickedness, man. One of the chief things that they have done is they put the people of God into captivity, man. But that, among other things, man, they false balances. All right, they alphabet agenda. All right, the murder, the robbery. It's a big cesspool of wickedness. That's why it's known as the mother of harlots. But anyways, let's jump back to Isaiah 47. And this is verse 2. It says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover the locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Okay? And when you look at that imagery, you just see a harlot being ravished, man. But really just being exposed. And you starting to see that first and foremost with the mouth of the prophets, beginning with our apostles and elders on down. They've been bringing out this word, pushing that vibration. Now you're starting to see all these other movements, the red pill movement, even Esau's tongue falling upon themselves, all over the internet, man. Like the Apostle Paul said, the internet is doing the heavy lifting, and it's just exposing this devil, and the shame is being shown, man, and the Lord's going to, this is a part of the Lord showing his vengeance, man. Okay, so all of you people talking about pray for America, the Lord he already purposed for it to go out. You might as well just get on the right side, and follow after the Lord. But a lot of you ain't gonna do that, man. It says, verse 4, as for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And like I said, one of the major things that they've done is they put their hands on the people of the Lord. Now, the Lord put us into captivity. He allowed them to be over us, and do what they did and had their way with us. But he's going to judge them for it. And that's the beauty of this thing, man. It says, and thou saidest, I shall be this is the point that I wanted to get. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So that thou didst lay not these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. Okay? They didn't remember the latter end of it, man. They thought that they were just going to extend their rulership forever, man. And that's just not the case. Okay? It says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwell carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right? So it's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop what's happening, man. Okay, this is what it is, man, and it's a beautiful thing, man, because it's almost over, man. Hold on, Okay, let me get let me get this video real quick. And again, this is fair use. All right, this is from the Epic Economist. It says experts are warning that there will be significant shortages in America by the end of next month. All right. And this was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, April the 30th. It says, the crisis we're facing can't be overstated. Nearly every U.S. industry depends on Chinese imports, and that flow is now grinding to a halt. I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. According to the World Trade Organization, trade between the United States and China could decline as much as 80%. Even the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has called this an effective trade embargo. That's why economists say a U.S. recession is now almost a coin flip. Unless something changes, this is going to be the biggest shock to our economy in decades. At the moment, our stores are filled with products that are manufactured in factories in China. But now many of those factories have gone eerily quiet. Now check this out.
Financial experts are sounding the alarm over the potential impacts of the global trade war.
And new warnings about a potential recession amid the trade war with China.
Consumer sentiment plummeting to one
It's
of
all
the
over the
lowest
news.
levels on record amid a fierce trade war. Retailers are warning of empty shelves with the 100.
See that? Product shortages and empty store shelves loom with falling shipments from China.
45% tariff on nearly all Chinese imports in place.
We're a few weeks away from starting to see the early effects of what will happen in the transportation of goods.
The crisis we're facing can't be overstated. Nearly every U.S. industry depends on Chinese imports, and that flow is now grinding to a halt. I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. According to the World Trade Organization, trade between the United States and China...
Yeah, that's what I just read. You know, but you could get the picture now. Check this out, man. These articles I got. All right, it says this is from April 23rd. Trio of top CEOs warn Trump tariffs will empty store shelves, report. Executives from Walmart, Target, and Home Depot didn't beat around the bush during a Monday meeting in the Oval Office. And you had Lowe's, all right, all of them, man, Executives from three of America's biggest retail chains warned President Donald Trump that things could get ugly if his aggressive economic agenda proceeds as planned, according to a new report from AXO, whatever. During a private meeting in the Oval Office on Monday, the CEOs of Walmart, Target, and Home Depot reportedly told the president that the supply chains could freeze and prompt store shelves to go barren if he doesn't rein his sharp tariff plans and meddles with the Federal Reserve. And he tried to halt it a little bit, but the damage is done. We starting to see what's happening. And these people, these other nations is fed up with America, man. The big box CEO flat out told him the prices aren't going up. They're steady right now, but they will go up. An administration official familiar with the meeting told AXOS or whatever. And that wasn't about food, but he was told that shelves will be empty. According to a separate official briefed in the meeting, Trump was told that if he doesn't change course, the impact could be noticeable in as little as 2 weeks. The CEO's words seemed to have some sway on the president. The following day, Trump told reporters that tariffs on China will come down substantially from his previously announced 145% rate. All right. He also walked back threats to fire Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve. All right. And then so you've seen the stock market had went up after he did that, man. But the things are still happening. OK. It was another one. I think it's this was from April the 30th as well. Major phone carriers are prepared to raise prices for consumers amid Trump's tariff plans. So this is AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. They warned the price rises is going to come, man. So even in the phone industry, food industry, look at this other video I got. And then I'm going to, I don't know if I can get back to it. Hold up. I don't remember which one it was. Let me play this while I look for it.
And by as much as 80%. Even the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has called this an effective trade embargo. That's why economists say a U.S. recession is now almost a coin flip.
The escalating trade tensions between the United States and China pose a significant risk of a sharp contraction in their bilateral trade. Our preliminary projections suggest that merchandise trade between these two economies could decrease by as much as 80%.
There we go. So America is through, man. You know, this place is crumbling. All right, let me get into some scriptures, man. You know, it's a beautiful thing for us, man. All right, this is Zephaniah 1:10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." All right. And so what does this represent? You know, the cry from that's like the marketplace, man. You know, that the noise of a cry from the fish gate, you know, it's talking about the whole marketplace, man. It's going to be cries of terror and anguish, man. You know, so just imagine that chaos and that panic as people realize the impending doom is about to come, man. You know, you know, look how people behavior is gonna change, man. And it says, and they're howling from the second, you know, which is another gate, another industry, because it's happening on all scales, man. You know, and there's just gonna be more sorrow, more lamentations, you know, as people starting to witness and come to realize the destruction of this place and their own fate, you know. And then it says a great crashing from the hills, man. So something powerful, something destructive is causing this to happen, these collapses, you know. And it's going to end, and we keep saying it's going to end in nuclear fire, man. World War III, nuclear missiles. And then you're going to have the whole MOTB with the chip, with the crashing of this economy, man. You know, it's all coming together, man. And if you can't see that, then you fucking blind. You know, what then have the elect obtained that which he seeketh for? You know, of Israel obtained that which he seeketh for? You know, the elect have obtained it and the rest are blinded. You see? Now, all right, that was that. What's this? I don't know what I just did. You know? Let me get, where is it? Now, this is what I wanted. The whole second Esdras, the 15th chapter. Okay? And, yeah, I'm here. Now, this says, man, this whole chapter is good. Because the Lord talks about how he's not going to, you know, the earth is exceedingly polluted. You know, the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, man. So he's not going to hold his tongue no more. He's going to avenge, you know, his elect. All right, but I want to start at verse 12. All right, and this is talking about Egypt. Egypt is another code word for America. All right, because remember in Revelation, the 11th chapter, it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified or being crossed out. Okay, and Egypt is like double straights with a place where we had served captivity. And I'm talking about Israel, and we did it again. All right, 2 Esdras 15:12, it says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So the Most High is doing this, man. He's bringing all this about. Okay? It says that they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting in hell with a fearful constellation. All right? And so, again, that there's more destruction coming, man. You know? What's that? 13. You know? So ultimately, like I said, this destruction, let me go back to this. I'm going to go back to my images. Ultimately, this destruction, you know, the Most High is intervening in this thing, man. The Most High is bringing this down. So that's why Babylon is not going to be healed, you know. It's not a random event, but it's a deliberate act of judgment from the Most High, okay? He says he's going to smite Egypt as with plagues before. So this place is being hit with these plagues, man, you know, by the Lord. So nobody can stop it, man, you know. It's going to be a similar scale of devastation, but it's going to be even worse, really, you know. And that's when you knew that it was the Most High's hand involved in it, all right? And it says it's going to destroy the land thereof, man. You know, not just the entire land of Egypt is going to be destroyed, man. And you Egyptians, you're going to mourn. That's where the grief in the mourning is going to engulf the whole nation, man. You know? And then and it says the foundation shall be shaken, man. You know, so the America's government, the society, and even the land itself is going to collapse, man. Okay? Let's keep going. It says, verse 14, woe to the world. Wait a minute. Did I get that? Oh, it's one more thing that I wanted to get. And then it's another one in Isaiah, the 19th chapter, and I'll probably close on those. Because those are some good scriptures on that. But verse 13 specifically says, they that till the ground shall mourn, you know. And that's the farmers, the agriculture is suffering, man, you know. And you see with the trucking industry, you know, the shipping industry, it's all collapsing, man. You know, that's why it says their seed shall fail. It's a crop failure. This is famine, you know. And then this is how severe it's going to be, man. It says a fearful constellation, you know. But let's keep going. This is just a part of the plagues, man, you know, that's coming to this place. But it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. This is verse 14. For their sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, because at that point it's gonna be, we gotta survive. Like the War on the Worlds movie, man. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And this is why they tighten that grip. You got this Real ID Act that will take effect May 7th, man. You know, that's about 5 days. Okay? The Real ID Act will take effect on May 7th. This means that starting that date, you will need a Real ID, compliant driver's license, or state-issued ID, like a passport or something like that, or another acceptable form of identification. To board commercial aircrafts and access federal facilities. All right, so you're not going to be able to just get on planes normally with just your old ID. You have to get it updated, man. You know? So they just, even domestic flights. So they tighten in that grip, man. They tighten in that control. Okay? It says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so this is what's going to happen when, these store shelves be empty, man. Oh, matter of fact, did I even get that? That's 2 Esdras, the 6th chapter. Let me get that real quick. the first scripture I wanted to get. Second Esdras 6 and I'm going to start at 18. It says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell on the earth. This is the Lord. It says, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. All right, so this is our captivity is almost done, man, because the end of the world is Esau, but the beginning thereof is Jacob, man. So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you got a lot to look forward to if you come back into the Lord, man. You know, it says, and when the world that shall be begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens or signs. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The woman with a child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Here's the point. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Okay? It says, and suddenly the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouse shall be found empty. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs and the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. It says, and whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. Okay. So we're going to have to be here and make it through these sorrows. The beginning of sorrows is here, man. You know, it's going to be great perplexity, great confusion. All right. But that's what this thing is about, man. You know, it's going to be a disappearance of stored food, man. You know, and it's going to lead to a panic. It's going to lead to famine, man. All right. And then it's going to be a breakdown in the social order because of these things, man. You know, so even close relationships are going to be shattered because it's going to be every man for himself, man. You know, so this is what I want. Check this out. This is a quote from Gerald Celente. All right. This is back in 2011. When people have nothing left to lose, they lose it. So what you think they're going to do, man? You know? What you think these people going to do when they don't have anything anymore? You know? So once somebody hits rock bottom, man, and they lose everything, nothing else is going to matter to them, man. You know? This is how they behaviors is going to be changed, man. You know? You going to become reckless, you know? You're not going to fear the consequences. That's not going to hold you back anymore, man, because you don't have nothing else to do. Nothing left to protect, man. These people going to lose hope, you know? And then their moral is going to be compromised, man. So that's just what it is, man. When people have nothing to lose and they lost everything, they lose it. Salente means that when people are desperate, they lose it. Disrespecting existing laws and governments, desperate people can start successful revolutions. All right. Oh my God, he was talking about how we are headed into a massive depression and how bad it is going to be. All right, now check this out. Because I just typed him in, and this is what he's been up to recently. You know? It's 2023. When all else fails. This is 3 weeks ago. Gerald Celente, on the path to economic collapse. What'd he say? This is 2020. Economic hell on earth is coming, man. So he's sounding an alarm in his own way, man. You know? But this is just what's going on, man. You know? The grinder's ceasing, as Ecclesiastes says, man. You know? And the Most High did his thing by putting Trump in office. Okay? So I'm going to close on Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Went a little longer than I expected, but it is what it is. It says, message to Egypt. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So you Americans, you're going to be going at it against each other, man. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, because they ain't gonna know where to go, man. You know? And that's just bringing more harm to yourselves. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. And yo, Lord's will, that be Trump, man. You know, that he is that cruel Lord, man, because he don't give a fuck, man. And he don't give a damn about you people, man. You know? That, yeah, you better pay attention, man. You know? I'm going to keep going. It says, verse 5, and the waters shall fail from sea to sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither and be driven away and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread nets upon water shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave network shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make slushes and ponds for fish. All right. So this is just showing a widespread economic crisis, man. When you really break those verses down, man, you know, it was talking about the fishing and then the textile industry. And that's just going into the global supply. And we just showed you with all the stores closing, you know, all these different goods, these services that you have, it's going to be hard to come by, man, you know. So those specific industries in ancient Egypt was critical into keeping it sustainable. And it's the same thing now. You got the trucking industry as well, you know. So the foundation of this place is crumbling, man. And the picture that is being painted is one of decline, all right? Hardship, societal disruption, man. So get ready, you know. If those that believe in this word, man, just keep the faith in the Lord, you know, because we understand what's going on, man. But we have to endure until the end, and then the same shall be saved. So Lord's willing, that was edifying. To the next lesson, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. And I want to say Shalom.